In 1980, at the 13th Winter Olympic Games in Lake Placid, the U.S. men's ice hockey team upset the heavy favorite Soviet Union. The event, now known as the Miracle on Ice, has gone down in history and lore as a triumphant moment for Americans, not just for sports fans, but for everyone, as the victory symbolized the strength and power of American values and ideals. Miracle, a film written by Eric Guggenheim and directed by Gavin O'Connor, is based on this event. Miracle stars Kurt Russell as Coach Herb Brooks, who is named coach of the U.S. Olympic men's ice hockey team. Despite the fact that he is a team of amateurs, through tough coaching and the players' hearts, they are able to beat the much-touted Soviets. They go on to take home gold, giving their country more optimism and hope for a better future. Kurt Russell does a very solid job as Coach Herb Brooks. I wasn't blown away by his performance as some people seem to have been, but he certainly sells the character and helps to carry the movie. The cinematography is interesting enough, nothing too special, but they do throw in some creative shots and capture the speed and visceral nature of hockey. The sound design was what really blew me away. Football may be my favorite sport, but hockey is my favorite sounding sport, and they captured it in all of its glory. The crunching of the skates on the ice, the tic-tac of a well-timed pass in the ring as the puck swings along the boards. It's all captured wonderfully, and helps give Miracle a sense of authenticity. I love how Miracle incorporates history into the story as well. The opening montage is great at setting the scene, and Jimmy Carter's speech helps shed a light on the cultural significance of the event and the primary theme of believing, while also not saying any of that outright. It all gives the film a sense of cohesion, and maybe more importantly, a sense of importance and value. This film is bigger than sports. It's about a country and her people, and that is Miracle's greatest strength, the event it is based on. Even through all the issues we will talk about, Miracle is based on an event that is a fantastic story, and even if it is told poorly at times, the story itself is still great. Despite some things Miracle does well, it has some pretty significant drawbacks. The film could have, and frankly should have, had a greater emotional punch. I believe the root of this issue stems from the characters. By the end of the runtime, I couldn't even remember most of the players' names. The film simply doesn't spend enough time going into each character to make their triumphants feel, well, that triumphant. So many other sports films do such a better job at having characters we latch onto. Take the team's goalie, Jim Craig, for example. We are told he's an inconsistent netminder. His highs are highs, but his lows are lows. But his recent struggles stem from the death of his mother. The problem is that Craig is allotted about 3 scenes to go through his arc. We understand what the film wants us to feel, but don't necessarily feel it. The worst part is that Craig is the most fleshed out player. Miracle has some great moments, but they are impactful because you as the audience understand what they mean, but all their power stems from the concept of what is happening, and not necessarily that it is happening to someone we care about. For example, when Ralph Cox is told he's the final cut and he won't be making the trip to Lake Placid. The scene is impactful and emotional, not because I actually care about Cox, but because I can relate to the emotions he is going through and the concept of working so hard to get so close and be told you won't even have a chance at your dreams. This all means that while these moments are great, they could have been significantly better. The reason that the lead characters aren't given enough time is probably due to the fact that Miracle feels the need to hit every sports movie cliche in the book. The wife that has to struggle with home life because the husband is away. The player that is clearly better than everyone else but is the outsider because he joined late. Players coming from different backgrounds having to get along, and I'd be here all day if I listed them all. The worst part isn't that these moments are just cliche and generic, it's that they are swiftly swept under the rug and forgotten about, never to be explored, as if they felt obligated to include them all. Finally, I can't help but feel like they could have better explained what the Miracle on Ice represented. They do a good job at painting the Soviets as the greatest team in the world and the Americans as the underdogs, but they don't do a great job of explaining why or showing the greater significance when America wins. The Soviets sent the equivalent of their pro team, players who had basically, if not literally, played from birth under the communist regime. The Americans sent college amateurs who went because it was their dream to do so, because they loved the game. It wasn't just a battle of 2 teams, it was a battle of 2 ideals. It was a battle of freedom versus control, and freedom won. The film brushes up against this, but it should have been explored more. This script needed a serious look to decide what the focus of the story should have been, as most of the problems stem from spreading its focus over too many areas, leaving almost all of them underdeveloped and underexplored. I enjoyed Miracle. It was an entertaining 2 hours or so, and as a sports fan and someone who has always loved the Miracle on Ice and what it represented, even if I wasn't alive for it, I could still find a lot of enjoyment here. The final verdict for Miracle is a 6 out of 10, a decent film. Can't help but just feel like this movie could have been much more, and this story deserved much more.